Hello everyone, welcome back to Automation. And here today we're going to jump right in where we left off last time. So we put the Model 1 on hold until about 1965 when we unlock the next car bodies. Now we want to jump in and give the Azrios its first facelift. So right now, just to remind us, it's doing pretty okay, but it is starting to make a little bit of a loss. Major issue is its affordability. So we're going to see if we can fix that up right now. So jump into car projects, jump into the Azrios, and here we're going to give it its first facelift. This is going to be the Mark 61 facelift. We're looking to do a few things here. So remind ourselves where we were. So this was fitting very, very nicely in a number of markets as it is. Very good on convertible sports, light sports premium, really hammering these markets really very, very well. Problem is, it's not really affordable for the light sport budget that we really want. So I'm thinking I might split this into two, release this one as it is, or release this one more or less as it is, bit of polish, then try and tone down a bit, get a light sports one, just since our budget category is not going to be around for a little bit. We really do want to take advantage of that market if we can. So before doing anything else, I want to jump into the engine. We've got new engine, so let's see if we can replace this. So it was this 4-litre dual-acting overhead cam engine, and this is going to be the 61 variant of it. So let's take a look here. So the main thing that we've got that we didn't have before is we've got fuel injection. So fuel injection wise, we've got a few different options we can use here. I believe already this is an improvement. This is just comparing this to the old version of the engine. You can see here, without tuning at all, we've got 10 horsepower increase in the power, more smoothness, much more throttle response. Altogether a better engine. Of course, the downside is this is going to be more expensive, so we are probably going to want to have a couple of versions of this engine going forward. So we can definitely make one of our new engines with the new design and can leave one of them with the old carburetor design. So I'm just going to put in a note, come back to that. This is our 61 injection engine. And so this one is the one we're going to be putting in our top of the line cars. So I don't think we need per cylinder injection just now. It does have a huge bonus to max power, but right now we're not reaching the max power that we would be getting with a single fuel injection. Since we're now deviating and giving two different ones, I do want to give this one a bit more of a performance intake, and this one can be our super leaded version. So we can go up to 98 run here, which means we should be able to play around with these settings a fair bit more, get quite a bit more out of this improved engine. So here we are, here's the new improved version of the engine with fuel injection. So made a couple of changes. Notably, we have, as we said, added fuel injection, increased the intake to a race quality, and added super leaded quality fuel. So this is really an upper end engine. That's fine, that is kind of the market the Azrios has been selling into, so we're just kind of doubling down on that. That has given us a lot of extra RON to play with, and so we've been able to boost the horsepower from 232 all the way up to 271, which is a fair boost on an engine that otherwise is mostly the same. And what else we've done is I've changed from none and reverse flow on the second muffler to double baffled. This gives us pretty much the same performance as we had otherwise, but with a little bit of a cost reduction. So I think that's worth it. It just seems a more efficient way of going about that. And I think we're also going to go for a long tubular flow exhaust headers. A little bit extra research time, not too much. And that gives us an extra few horsepower out there, really making this engine kind of the best it can be with our current technology and the size of engine that we've got. So that was the fuel injection engine. So I'm going to do the same thing with a version that's sticking with the carburetor. This is going to be our cheaper model. So really here, I'm going to try and keep the cost down as much as possible rather than going for maximum performance. So here we go, here's our other engine. And this is it compared against the original. So I've not done too much. I changed it away from the DCOE to just a 2-barrel twin carburetor. Changed a few of the settings. Mostly what this has done is made everything a little bit cheaper. In general, a little bit better. We don't quite have the same horsepower, although because the horsepower is being delivered over a broader range, slightly out of the race cam profile, that has actually increased our performance index. It's kind of a summary of drivability of the car and horsepower and torque. See our torque curve's actually a bit better now. So all in all, this is a little bit cheaper, little bit better engine. And so let's just compare this against its injection fueled brother. So between them, the injection is definitely the better performing one and much better throttle response. But it's also about twice the service cost, almost about 150 times the speed, 150% the material cost, and it runs on specialty fuel. So I think this is actually quite a good pairing. We've got the injection engine, that's our super top end one, and we've got this one, which by no means is a pure budget engine. This is still a really good engine, especially for the decade, but it's just a little bit more affordable. So we've stuck the new engine in our car, already getting even better ratings here. But now I'm going to go through this, see what I can do with this trim, see if I can make this a luxury sports model, just be a little bit better than we currently have it. So looking at what we've done with all of that, main change is upgrading the brakes to solid disc brakes. It's giving us a bit better braking, both forward and back. And so we've got some really good stats in here. Otherwise, most of this was just minor tweaks to balance things out. So this is still absolutely fantastic. Convertible sports and convertible supercar. They absolutely love these. We are coming online with the supercar market as well. So if people want to buy those, we are well in the market there. This isn't really designed as one of these, but they are starting to come up. So the supercar market is currently worth 4.49 million. The hypercar market is only worth 35k. So not massive right now, but it is worth getting some sales in there. And this car is competing in that market at least. Also, the Light Sports Premium's looking very good. It's very attractive in this market and decently affordable. So for our other variant, which I'm going to put together, I really want to make this Light Sports affordable. So I think this one is good. I'm just going to now clone this. So this was at 61, and I'm going to name this the Convertible Sports model, whereas this is our genuine 61 Light Sports. Oh, and I know the years that I've been putting in are the year of the design. It's not the year of the release. It's just a lot easier this way. Does mean the names are kind of out, but does mean that the names are the name of the year where it was designed. So they're always being released sort of 2 to 5 years after that time. So for this one, first thing I want to do is change the engine to the cheaper variant. Now for the market I am focusing on is light sports. So right now we've got 60% affordability. This is what I want to drive up on this variant. This is our slightly cheaper variant, so I'll be looking at everything I can do just to save a little bit of money while still getting this light sport category. Okay, so here we go for the slightly cheaper variant. So big changes here. Went from sports compound to medium tires to rebalance quite a few things. And importantly, ripped out any kind of fanciness in the interior. You still have to have a convertible type just because of car. We should be able to select a non-convertible option, but I think this line is just a bit bugged right now. It is an early access game. But we just have basic interior, no entertainment. That's given us a fair boost to the percentage of people that can afford this. Otherwise, this car is very similar to the previous version. So let's just compare these two now. So cheaper car, less desirable in a lot of the factors, but it's not too bad. All in all, I'd say this is worth it for the extra slice of the market we're going to get. As we can see here, we're now up to 68.7% of the light sports market, so that's fair enough. Still not getting there for these budget versions, but that's what the new brand is going to try and bring in. So now it's just the factory setup time. So here we go. After balancing this, one thing to note is the new fuel system is going to take ages to put in. So it's going to take us 4 years to get that out. Bright side, that has left us with plenty of time to really polish the engine, bring the car even, bring down the cost. Overall, the prices here, we've got a very expensive price for the fancier version, 17.3 thousand. The manufacturing cost of 9.1 thousand. There's a sweet spot there. For the light sports one, we are retailing at 13,000. Just to check in, the average light sports buyer has 16.1 thousand to spend, and that's plus or minus 6,000, some sort of a Gaussian distribution. And so we are losing out on a few, but that's a fair chunk of that market. That's giving us really nice, healthy, projected profits here. Of course, these are just projected profits. Things can happen. But this is certainly looking really, really nice for us. It is going to take a while to get these out, almost as long as redesigning cars. Well, going from carburetor to fuel injection is quite a big jump. Might not be the best decision. Let's just see how it goes. We are spending a lot, so I have maxed out the funding on the engine to try and get that engine out in some kind of reasonable time. But I'm not going to take the loan on this one. We do have enough to afford that, so I'm just going to sign that off there. I'm not going to be signing off the Model 1, so let's just go back to the hub, see where we are. So right now everything is looking fine, so I'm going to let time tick forward a little bit, and then we can see where we end up. Next major planned event is going to be whenever the new cars unlock. I won't know exactly when that is, because as we're going through this, we are researching into car bodies. It'll take some time for this to tick up, but we get the new bodies officially in 1965, so it'll either be 1964 or 1963 when we can start that. So I'll fast forward until then. So here we are, February 1963. We have unlocked these new bodies here, and so that's going to be our next plan. Incidentally, while we've been fast forwarding there, the current version of the Azrios has been doing pretty damn well, getting about $1 million profit per month. It went up and down initially. The economy is in a bit of a free fall, which isn't ideal, but we do seem to be balancing out here. All in all, it's doing fairly well at its desired market. We're just hoping that the new version, which will be coming out in a couple of years, will be doing some good stuff for us. Now we're going to be jumping over to have a look at our Model 1 and see what we can mess around with here. Remember, this is our budget category. So we've got a whole host of 1965 cars, and I'm quite liking, I think it's this one here. Actually, I like this 2.4 meter set here. I have noticed that a large part of this premium budget market that came online is in fact coming from Helvetia, since the Delua market's mostly the higher end of those. So we're going to kind of be tailoring this to a more Helvetian market, all in all. And so we do still want small cars. So we're looking for nice, but small and cheap. So I think this 2.4 meter wheelbase one here. So we've got a collection of sedans, including soft top convertible, non-soft top convertibles. The difference between these two is 4-door versus 2-door. Let's go take a look at these. Now, still am definitely wanting the steel frame, really looking anything that's going to be cheap here. So we do have the option to put this in front transverse as opposed to front longitudinal. Would give us a few options, but really I think front longitudinal is where it's going to be easier to service, and so that does count towards the cost. I think I may well cut these suspension costs here. This is just not good enough for what we're looking to do. And sure, after playing with some of the settings, I think it's worth going for double wishbone. So we'll leave that as that. I'll just have a look at the engine for you. Again, we're looking to bring down the cost here if we at all possibly can. Engine, I think we did have a pretty good design to begin with, so we'll just leave that as is. And before I'll play around some of these settings, see where I can save money. So all in all here, what we have is not the cheapest car, but it's pretty good going for the premium budget category, which was our main target here. That we've got fair balance of comfort, prestige. Really don't have any sportiness on this one, but with 58% of the premium budget market, that's still quite a lot looking at this. So limited to our awareness, that's 8 million, that's 150 million. Interestingly, we've accidentally designed a family car here as well, which is okay, I suppose. This might just be a really good general money maker for us more than anything else. So it's got pretty premium interior. Turn it down to 4 seats over 2. Over 5, sorry, which just makes it a little bit better there. These markets do certainly like this car. It's quite comfortable, quite decent. So they're very happy with it. And so I will go ahead and design this car. Try and make this strange Soviet-looking thing look like a budget sports car or budget luxury car. And I will get back to you. And so there we go. There is the design of the new car, and I've named it the T-Rex. Discord gave a few different ideas, and I went with the one of kind of sticking with random YouTubers that I follow. And since everyone on the Discord is also part of T-Rex's server, let's name the first car T-Rex, giving it a nice T-Rex green to go along with that. And it looks something that you would find in Eastern Europe, but fancier end of Eastern Europe. So the T-Rex designed, we're now going to look at doing another trim here, and I'd quite like a convertible option. See if we can get a little bit into the convertible budget category. So let's just see what we can do here. I just want to remind myself quickly, convertible category does want 4 seats, so we don't want to lower that anymore. That's absolutely fine. This is our 4-seat version. I'll just go play around with these stats a bit, see what I can do. So here we have this version of the car. The convertible sports, convertible budget and convertible sports budget. Convertible budget, love it. And I managed to get that up to 28% affordability. It was around 20% by default, so that's still a few more coming in there. And convertible sports budget, quite like it, and they can really quite afford it. 61% is not bad for a budget market. So should be able to get some more money selling into those two. So that's going to be our goal for this trim. As for things I did to bring the price down, largely changing the interior, stripping out almost everything. It's got basic and basic radio. That cut down the price significantly, gave us quite a bit extra affordability without knocking down the desirability too much. Also reduced the quality of the brakes, again just to bring down the price there. So all in all, pretty good car. And so now I will just go to pick one to export. I think I'll go for the premium budget. Actually, on second thought, let's go for this new convertible budget as the one I'll export into BeamNG. Just change the top color to black there. That's pretty decent. Otherwise, the change between the two hasn't really messed anything up on the car design. So we should take this around the test track, see how it does. This is our budget category. It shouldn't be doing as well as our previous ones, but let's just see. It's quite a bit slower, only getting up to 70 kph on that first straight. And a time of 3 minutes 18. So not surprising, this isn't the fast, nippy cars that we've been making. It's a much larger car. I'll export that to BeamNG Drive, and then we can take a look at the factory settings. So we need to get a new factory for this one. Have a choice of where to place the factory. We've got numerous different options here. I think I'm actually going to open this one and hit Azrios. So labour costs are a little more than they are in Freenia, but workforce skill is a lot better. And otherwise, they're pretty even. I've got a lower tax rate there, so it should make a little bit more. And this one, I am going to buy a large plot, even though we're building a medium factory, just so we have the option of expanding later, especially since this factory is going to be our sort of more mass market factory. So go for medium factory and just medium factory 1 there. And we need the steel presses to get this working in any way or form. And for now, I'm going to leave the extras off. This is already going to be costing us quite a lot. Just bumped up the automation tool quality a little bit, just to help bring the price down, bring our running costs down. This is going to be very expensive to be running each month. So hopefully we'll get good results there. Now, and for our engineering time, let's see if we can bring this down a bit. So we're aiming for 60 months. That's going to cost us 40 million, and we're going to have to do the same with the engine factory. Same deal, opening up in Helvetia with a large factory, a large plot, and we're using medium 1. Again, we need the iron foundry, not going to add anything else on, it's already going to cost us a lot. Again, just spending a little bit more up front to get the costs down and the quality a little bit better. Now here we've got some options. This doesn't take too long to engineer, so we can either reduce the pressure to gain more familiarity or increase some of our other tools. We're really going for budget, so I might look to put this more and more automated. So we go putting a little more effort into making this a little bit cheaper to manufacture, and then really lowering the pressure so we can learn as much as possible about this new sort of engine type. So it seems reasonable as our initial setup. So I've turned off the tooling and factory costs, since those are going to be one-off massive costs that we're having to put in to get the factory set up in the first place. So I'm just going to take that hit as an investment. So just looking at this without that factored in, should be making some profit. Are definitely going to need to put in a facelift pretty soon after this comes out. But right now we're retailing the premium budget line for 8.4 thousand and the convertible budget at 5.6 thousand. Just looking at the spread there, that is going to be enough for more than half of convertible budget buyers to be able to afford this, well over more than half of convertible sports buyers to be able to afford this, and most premium budget buyers will. So we should be selling quite well. We are going to need to do an advertising campaign to drum up interest in Helvetia to really maximize how this is all doing. Otherwise, it can take 22 months to build the factories, 16 months to research. So it all seems good. Now this is going to cost us 643 million to pay. We do technically, we don't technically have that. And I want to take a loan out anyway to cover this. So we'll be paying off this loan in 36 months. I'm going to absorb or get this to pay for the entire cost of the loan. And we'll see how we do with this. Said we need to expand our marketing. It's also worth noting we have opened up Arcana. In terms of what they like, Arana is very, very cheap. They don't have a lot of money. They really go for the low end of the market. As you can see here, they're not interested in most of the cars that we make, a little bit on the premium budget side, but not massively. Really, they want general family budget cars. It's sort of Soviet Russia, Eastern Europe. So this isn't really the market we're going into. I don't think we're going to spend a lot marketing in there. Helvetia, on the other hand, as we saw, they do have rather a big premium budget market that we want to get into. So I'm going to be bumping up our prestige advertising. It's got decent safety, which might sell well in Helvetia, because they like that above all else. And by default, we are already advertising the increase in agility. Oh, that was left over from before. And since we're really trying to hammer the premium market in Helvetia, I'm also going to advertise some of our comforts in there as well. So with all that done, I'm going to advance time until the new facelift of the Azrios is complete. So, the new version of the Azrios has launched there, and it's currently doing incredibly well. It's sold 4 million in the initial month. I wasn't sure if that was just sort of a holdover for it just being released. Immediately made over 5 million profit in the second month. So I think this new facelift is doing really well. Certainly took us some time to engineer that. Now we've got that, I think that's going to be a really good model going forward. Still got the T-Rex to get engineered. That'll be coming out early 68. We can see here we're in a pretty good financial situation. We've got over 500 million, I should say. And so we're in a comfortable position. Looking at what we'll be doing as we go forward, well, we're going to need to start another facelift on the Azrios. It's really something that we need to just keep up. As for exactly when we do that, let's just take a quick look at the research and development. So we have just unlocked the straight-through exhaust. That might be a nice addition for our engines. 5-gear manual unlocked is actually really, really nice for us. Better braking, again, that's something we really, really want. We've got hydropneumatic suspension, gas monotubes coming out next year, and got better safety. There's quite a few things that have popped up there, and so I think at this point this is going to be a good place to leave off this episode. Next episode we can jump back in and do the next facelift of the Azrios, and of course we'll kick things off by test driving the T-Rex. The Azrios probably has a few years in it left. Kind of looking towards the future, we've got some interesting cars coming up. Got this series of 1-seat row cars that look pretty fancy, nice and small. That might be ones to look into. There is also this family here coming out in 1970. Again, we'll get all of these a little earlier since we are researching into them. So definitely things that we can look into. I think that's enough for today. So thank you all for watching. If you have any comments, please do leave them below. If you want to be more involved in the direction that we're taking this, do consider joining the Discord. Where I quite frequently poll people there to see what their opinions are. The latest result has been the naming of the T-Rex, as well as this idea of a budget category. And otherwise, support the channel by liking, subscribing, all of that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next one. For now, remember to have fun. Cheers.